Hello from Jersey Mike's Arena, where Rutgers just escaped. They survived St. Peter's and outlasted the pesky Peacocks, 75 to 65. A game that was close throughout. A game that Rutgers trailed at halftime. Looked like they were going to pull away midway through the second half. The visitors roar back, take a lead. They go back and forth, and then ultimately Rutgers defense does what it does. They hold St. Peter's without a point for the last 4 minutes, and they win. What was your biggest takeaway?
Those 4 minutes, I think it's hard to ignore what Rutgers did in those final 9 possessions, whether it was Zach Martini really playing effective defense on smaller guards that were trying to get to the basket. He defended them up really well. Or Jordan Durkak, another just really great defensive performance. Obviously, a lot of other guys had big contributions during that stretch, but Rutgers, when the game was on the line, went toe-to-toe physically and played great defense. So I thought that was a staple. And, of course, right, Dylan Harper, we can't go a minute into this video and not mention what he's done. 24 points today, just another electric performance from him, and more of the same.
Yeah, 24 points. He's now the first freshman since Corey Sanders to score 20 points in back-to-back games, but he has very lofty standards as a five-star, and those 24 points were not as easy as he made the 20 points against Wagner look. 3 turnovers, missed some shots, went 1 of 6, I believe, on threes, which is starting to become a little bit of a concern. So, again, don't get me wrong. He was probably their best player on the floor. I think he's going to be their best player on the floor most of the time, especially when Ace Bailey isn't playing. So that's kind of something there. But I agree. At the end, when you need the veterans, they pulled through and made big plays, and they survived. And listen, I didn't think they'd lose this game at any point, really, but you cannot afford to lose a game to St. Peter's, the second game of the season. And they won. That's all that matters.
That is all that matters. And the energy in this building was fantastic tonight. Like, the crowd down the stretch, I thought, lifted these guys, and the players talked about feeding off that energy. And just to get back to Harper, free throws were really important. He was great on the line, and when Rutgers needed a bucket, it was clear that Dylan Harper was going to be the guy with the ball in his hand, driving to the basket. Really effective all around the rim. So I thought just really, really good again from Harper.
Yeah, to be clear, Harper was the best player on the floor. I don't want people to misconstrue what we said, but listen, not a good test for Rutgers. I think ultimately this will prove to be a game they can reflect back on, and they can kind of a lot of teaching points for the coaching staff, obviously. Just 2 things that keep recurring so far through 2 games, small sample size. This 3-point shooting was not great. The rebounding for stretches was not great. Those are 2 things that I kind of see, but they were finishing decently at the rim. They were aggressive. The crowd was in mid-season form. So, listen, Rutgers survived, and now they play Monmouth on Friday. This is the challenge of a new team, stringing wins together, playing well. And maybe, who knows, Friday we'll see Ace Bailey. Steve Pikiell said he's close, but he admitted he's not a doctor. So I would take anything he says with a grain of salt on this case. But I think that's kind of the next step here for the season. Everyone's kind of, on pins and needles to see Ace Bailey.
Yeah, how many people came up to the press box today asking that question? Obviously, the more this lingers, the more the lure of Ace Bailey, I guess, grows, and the question marks kind of grow. Listen, Rutgers has been fine without him, but that next level is so clear that he can deliver that. You saw that against St. John's. He was absolutely dynamic. So the longer the wait goes on, the more intrigue there will be, but I'm sure he's close, and I think that's the takeaway.
And I think his absence was felt today because when you need a bucket, you have a guy like Dylan Harper, but it's tough for him when they're blitzing him on ball coverage. They're pushing him back to midcourt and bringing 2-3 guys at him to force him to pass the ball to other guys. It's a little different passing the ball to, other guys that aren't Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey makes a huge difference as another guy that's able to get a bucket when you need it. And again, Rutgers is lucky they had this type of performance against St. Peter's and not against Alabama and Las Vegas, for example.
Yeah, I will say that St. Peter's, right, they have this reputation as being a tough team, very physical. And I thought you saw that a lot today, and it was just kind of one of those gritty performances by an underdog team that has that reputation for being a giant slayer. And I thought St. Peter's came in here and played a really good game. There were a bunch of guys on that team should be proud of what they did. And I thought it was just a really good representation of Jersey basketball at the end of the day too.
No doubt. And just to close out, to match the toughness was Jordan Durkak. I thought he was great. Both offensively remained as aggressive as usual and maybe a little too aggressive at times, but generally you like to see that from a guy. And then defensively, he was all over the place and really in crunch time when they needed a guy to make a play, he almost got a key steal here and was just always kind of involved somehow. So I thought a second straight really good game from Jordan Durkak. I don't know if he can keep playing to this level again when the competition rises, but you always feel like he provides that one thing that no one else on the roster quite does. I can't really quantify it, but it seemed like he had it, and Rutgers had enough of it as a team. They survive. They beat St. Peter's. They surpassed the Peacocks. They come back Friday against Monmouth, and we'll be here. So hopefully we'll see you guys there. Thanks.